To kick off this next session, I wanted to introduce Anders JEPPSSON from RIM. He's going to talk to you guys about some of their new plans, the cool new playbook, and how they're going to try to revolutionize mobile gaming with this killer new tablet of theirs. So without further ado, Anders.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So you have to bear with me here. I don't have my presentation notes anymore. I don't see that screen, and it's a pretty new presentation. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the mismatch, I think, between the perception of RIM and also maybe that RIM isn't really communicating what we have been doing for the last year and a half. And it's not only a platform anymore for business people. So actually the demographics is quite different right now. It's almost 80-20 in favor of the casual consumer. So in many markets now, the main demographics is actually female between 15 and 25 that uses BlackBerry devices, and BBM is one of the main reasons for people moving to BlackBerry. And I know we're losing a lot of ground here in North America, but in other parts of the world, like in the UK and France, Spain, and other regions, we're growing heavily still. So it's not a company that is on its way out. Quite the contrary. So basically, about me, I've been working 14 years in the gaming industry before joining RIM. And I actually came in via the TAT acquisition around Christmas time from a mobile user experience company. So I've been working as head of innovation on telecom companies and done those kind of things also. But I've always been trying to see it from an end user perspective and bringing in the end user perspective into application design and designing of in any kind of mobile experience really, which was something quite new in the mobile sphere 5 years ago. But it's becoming mainstream today, obviously. So I'm going to speak a lot about benefits and opportunities for the developer community, and even the few last speakers here, it's mainly a focus on iOS today. That is the big shining beacon, of course, and Android being the platform that is harder to monetize on, but it's just growing, I mean, immensely, and there's great opportunities for the developer. But I've been reaching out to the developer community for the last few months now, discussing what their strategies are, and for most of them, going multi-platform, it is just a concept that they can't really wrap their head around, and many of the BD guys, they don't know what the team is even developing in, if they're using Objective-C, for example, and what that would mean for them to go multi-platform to do Android, and even worse, go to a new platform like the one that BlackBerry is building now. So I'm really looking for feedback from the developer community in general. What kind of tooling would you like to see from our side to help you to reach more platforms, and what kind of open source project, etc., makes sense for you to help you go multi-platform and monetize and not leave money on the table. So in the recent months now, it's been called basically a 2 or 3 horse race, where iOS and Android being the 2 first horses, of course, and now with Windows Phone 7 being the 3rd. But that is a really weird way of looking at it, because as I said, it's for the developer community, really, the platforms exist to satisfy the developers, so to help them monetize. So it's more of a question about where does it make sense for me as a game developer doing casual games or social games or hybrid or even hardcore games. How can I bring my content onto the most possible platforms where it makes sense, so I can maximize my profit, so I can stay in the business. So gaming is obviously not for kids anymore, and the demographics is changing rapidly now, and these things are new to the more old-time hardcore telecom companies, maybe like RIM a few years back, where it was about SAP and business applications, and yes, games are draining batteries, and so are cameras, etc. So that is not something that is good for our devices, because these are serious products for communication. But right now, 80% of our consumers are actually using BBM for communication, and we hit 1 billion downloads in our app store. So people are definitely enjoying games, and 40–50% are playing games on our platform every month. So it changes, and I think the perception about what we have been doing also is a bit skewed. So that's why I'm here to tell a little bit about what RIM has been doing and how we look at the developer community now. So demographics is changing, like the previous presenter showed, AT&T, and personally, I mean, in my family, there are 2-year-olds to 76-year-olds playing Angry Birds games. So who is the demographic today? So for platform companies such as RIM that owns the vertical, who are our real customers, and for the developers, who should they be developing for? So we just need to face it that it's a really wide demographic now that you have the potential of satisfying. And mobile gaming is no longer just the handheld Nintendo DS for the kids, but as you can see, I mean, iOS and Android and other platforms are really eating into the traditional companies' strategies here. So this is very, very important, of course, for RIM and BlackBerry to work with the developer community in general to find out what makes sense for you in terms of monetization and technologies, etc., to bring your content over to our 100 million users, because we have a big market share. So, I mean, this is just a perspective again. I mean, Xbox Live is too small for consideration, and still Xbox Live is 55 million consoles sold, and console gaming is dying. And so mass market starts at 300 million, and then the Nintendo comment at the end, and it just sort of shows the perception of what has been happening in this rapidly evolutioning industry for the last 2.5, 3 years basically since Apple introduced the iPhone. To me, I'd rather see it as not chasing maybe to satisfy everybody, but to actually, console gaming is not dying, it's actually doing pretty well, and PC gaming is definitely not dying. It's just about satisfying different niches of the market, and basically most of the niches are increasing, and sometimes you can adapt your hardcore content to actually appeal to other demographics, etc. So for us, again, as a platform owner, how should you look at this, and how should you respond, and what kind of toolings, etc., should you provide to satisfy all of these kind of different numbers and the rapid evolution of mobile user experiences that are being created now. I mean, it's in a rapid innovation phase. So this is something that I used internally a lot, just to talk about when you speak, oh, we need to support the game developers, and I mean, like that was some sort of niche in itself, but game developers, they have the same requirements really that any application developers, and a Foursquare application has social demands that many of these social games also have. So, and it's a personal belief that many of the 250 million Angry Birds downloads, they had never really played games before, and my mother's new guy in her life, he plays Angry Birds, and he's actually better at it than I am. So he has gold medals on all levels and all the updates. So and he would never have been considered a gamer previously. And I mean, young kids can pick it up at the age of 1 or 2 even and interact with those kind of things. So for a company like RIM or any other, really, we need to just realize that gaming is no longer focused on gamers alone, and personally, Cityville and Farmville, they don't have the strong gaming mechanics that you can find in the more traditional hardcore games. So there's a lot of social aspects in those games, and from a platform perspective, you need to be able to support those kind of APIs in terms of in-game app purchases and those kind of virtual goods, etc., etc. So either you rely on middleware or you actually build it deeply into your platform. So the siloed approach or actually integrate it deeply. So obviously most developers want to be able to see all the consumers now in the casual space as the same and just develop one game and it's going to hit all the demographics. But in the end, what I'm seeing now, I mean, there are a few paths for the developers. I mean, some of them are really truly creative and innovative, trying to create new user experiences, and they have a certain way of iteratively developing their games and releasing them, and some just copy and improve proven concepts, and you see that a lot in the app stores as well. But then Also, you find a game that doesn't exist on Android, but it's really, really famous on iOS. So they just copy that and move it over because the original developer didn't really want to do that. So there are a lot of ways to look at the potential end user on a platform. So who should we really cater our functionalities, etc. to? So that is not clear cut. So basically, my message is that they should. I mean, we need to sort of realize that they need to be able to develop for multiple deployment, and finding the right monetization model will also depend on platforms. So if you have a game on iOS, you might be able to sell it for money, but if you're going to sell it on Android, you definitely need to do freemium models, etc., and maybe do a hybrid on our platform. But in the end, it's up to that game and that game's demographic that the developer chose in the beginning, the willingness to pay, etc., etc. So. And then you have a company like RIM that has a really great sort of exposure in different regions. I mean, we have a really great relationship with carriers all over the world, and some of our biggest markets are actually in Indonesia and Brazil and those kind of countries. And being able to hook into those kind of and understanding those kind of markets can give you totally new opportunities as a game developer with just minor modifications. And those are the things that working closely with RIM can bring to the game developers and help them understand via RIM marketing or other kind of information that we can provide to the developers. So do minor tweaks on their other platforms' application to bring over, and also to exploit unique features and services on our platform. So basically, since I came on at RIM, this has been my mantra really for RIM and for the developer community that I speak to, and that is that developers needs to be able to monetize on more than one platform, and that they need to focus on what adds end user value and not really reinvent the wheel all the time. So we need to sort of realize this, that we can't lock developers in. We want them to go to other platforms, and I recently started a gaming team internally at RIM also that is really looking at the native APIs and how they align with our competitors' platforms, and so how to make it easy and developer friendly, the tooling, plugins for Visual Studio, etc., and what kind of open source projects like Box2D or Physics or whatever kind of open source project you might be using today. How can you just, so we can sort of give you that kind of source code, you just include it and recompile. You should be able to deploy to our platform as well. So here I'm really looking for feedback from you guys as developers on what makes sense for you in your development pipeline, and what kind of help can we provide you with, so you can focus on customization and differentiation instead of porting and adding new SKUs, which is just technology work where the consumer doesn't really appreciate in the end, but takes a lot of development cycles. So business and not fun and games is probably at least that was my view before I started at RIM. But I mean, for the last year and a half, RIM has really been doing a lot of interesting things, and this is not really well known to the general public. So basically, a year and a half ago, we acquired a company called Certicom to improve mobile security in our devices. And that sounds like business, but actually, if you have a social API built into your platform, like achievements and gamer score, etc., Xbox Live have been hacked now. So there's not really a big interest comparing your own gamer score with your friends anymore. Same with the iOS, etc. So even those social aspects of databases and things that are used by game developers to create this social stickiness to the games on a specific platform requires a lot of security in the end on the platform. And then BBM, our social API, is also something that we have opened up now to the third-party developer community to hook into. So we have basically 55 million BBM users. So that social graph is very, very different from Facebook, for example. So I think the average response time for a BBM message or a signal from BBM is about 30 seconds for a user to react upon. And that makes a huge difference for games like Words with Friends, for example, or if you do poker games or whatever it might be, turn-by-turn kind of gaming. And then a year and a half ago, we acquired QNX. So that means that BlackBerry devices no longer will be only Java-based, but it's actually a microkernel, a Unix operating system. So you should be able to recompile your C++ code very, very easily and get it to run on our devices. And it's just a really high performance and low overhead system. Then after we acquired QNX, we acquired Cellmania for improving our app stores and our app store technology. We acquired Torch Mobile to improve our web technologies, and so we have a really great HTML5 rendering engine now. And HTML5 is really coming now, so I'm speaking to many companies that are sort of establishing their HTML5 technology now and building everything new in HTML5, depending on the niche and what makes sense for them, of course. And then we have the TAT acquisition, which is a mobile UX design company that, and our software was actually in more than 500 million mobile phones worldwide. Basically all the big carriers, or the big OEMs used our, manufacturers used our technologies. And then just a few weeks ago, we acquired Scorelib for the social ecosystem. So if you start connecting these dots to see what RIM is building now and what our focus is to hook into the developer communities, this is so slowly now becoming a really attractive platform for the mass market consumer, and also then of course for the developer. And the first product that we're rolling out based on this is the playbook that was launched a few months ago in North America and just came out in Europe. And there's still some small missing pieces and components that are being updated every month now in our monthly operating system update. So new form factors are coming really soon, and the first mobile phones will be coming soon also based on this new system. And this means that it's sort of a hybrid maybe approach to what Apple has been doing with very few devices and basically one, and the very fragmented Android platform where you have to have a lot of different customizations depending on chipsets and power, etc., etc. So developing for this new generation of playbook devices is going to be very easy for developers to bring their content over. So there is a shift now from our old generation Java-based mobile phones to this new C++ and native-based platform. And this platform also supports HTML5, Adobe Air, so you can run full Flash applications and sell both WebWorks HTML5 applications through the App Store and your Adobe Air applications. And then we're going to have an Android Java sandbox also that is coming out this summer. And of course the native SDK that is soon to be released. So basically when I'm looking then to the demographic of what kind of demographics we're targeting, I'm basically just breaking it down into hardcore, social, and casual, and then they're sort of starting to interfuse also a bit now. So the hardcore games is of course the more traditional, harder to get into kind of games that it's a strong niche, but it's actually becoming a smaller if you look at the big percentage of the kind of consumers that play games today on mobile devices. And then you have the casual, and that's the Cut the Ropes and the Angry Birds, etc. And then the social, which we know about using the Flash technologies mainly, but not exclusively. So however you want to sort of describe your own company and what you're trying to accomplish, my goal is really just to make sure that you have access to the kind of development technology you're looking for, what makes sense for you as a company to help you monetize. If you're doing stuff on PC and web today, for example, it's very easy for you to bring over a lot of that content onto these devices, and we have the APIs for you, so you can do the paid, the freemium, ads, microtransactions, virtual goods, etc., etc. And in the end, we're not trying to lock you in, but actually to just acknowledge that this is another way for you to monetize on, and so you can, continue building your healthy company and be more creative and focus actually on adding value rather than porting to our platform, because you can make some money there or porting to the other platform. And we're also bringing over a lot of new middleware like Unity's gaming engine and the AirPlay, or it's now renamed Marmalade platform also, supporting this new generation of devices. So this could be a really good way for you to go multi-platform if you're doing iOS games for today, for example, and you want to do both Android and Playbook, etc. Getting on Marmalade, for example, could be a really good opportunity for you to reach those platforms as well, and the other ones that Marmalade is supporting today. And more announcements are coming soon around this. This is another thing we're doing at RIM today, is basically providing you with a UI framework to allow you to develop really multimedia-rich applications very, very quickly, and then hooking it into both our back-end services and things like the Facebook APIs, etc., etc. So these kind of applications, they were developed in like a day or something, and supporting full multi-touch and really nice interactive graphics. Just doing this from scratch in native would take a long time. And these will be available on many different language platforms, both native and Flash, etc. So there is a rough roadmap of what's available right now if you want to start looking at getting your content over to this new platform. And available now is already the WebWorks and the Flash, and Android support is coming this summer. By fall, by DevCon, I think it's been announced that the native SDK is free to download for all developers, and there's a lot of tools that are coming then, and also a lot of source code and stuff and samples that you can be downloading and accessing to be able to deploy not only to our platform but also to help you to reach other platforms. And then the social API from Scoreloop that we're integrating into our platform now, it's going to continue to be multi-platform. So that's a way for friends to be able to play and compare scores between BlackBerry, Android, iPhone, etc. So we're not going to limit those developers that are using Scoreloop today, but we're just going to integrate it very, very nicely into our platform for it to drive sales for the developers. And I touch base on this really quickly. So this is a view of the current version of the App Store on BlackBerry. So we are behind Apple right now, but we still have more than 1 billion downloads and a lot of subscribers at the moment that are using this. And it's basically a 70-30 royalty split deal for the developers, and it's free to submit your apps and updates, etc. So, and we support all the kind of APIs that you need and want to be able to do your freemium models. And payment, we have operator billing, credit card, and PayPal in over, I think it's 120 countries or something. So, and we're increasing that rapidly also now to help with monetization. So, because credit card only is a big problem in many parts of the world. So, this is also a way compared to, for example, the Android platform that they need to solve, where you would be able to, even if you have a lower install base, you can still make some really good money because the threshold is lower for us on these markets, having these kind of APIs and payment methods, etc. available. So thank you very much. That was just a brief overview of what's been happening at BlackBerry for the last year and a half. And I really appreciate any kind of input and feedback you can give me about your development platforms and what kind of open source product or whatever makes sense for you as a developer to help you go multi-platform, not only to our platform, but in general to help you monetize. So thank you.
Hi, Anders, over here. Hi, I'm Ryan from Untold Entertainment. The theme of your presentation today was ease of development for PlayBook. But when I put my game on PlayBook, it was the most complicated thing I've ever done in my entire life. I spoke to a developer yesterday. He put it at 11 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. Okay. I wrote an article on my blog called "Dear RIM, please put that shit on a button." Yeah. And after I wrote it, a commenter said, well, there is a button. A developer who's not related to RIM at all built it, and you could download that and you can use that and use his button. And I'm wondering, I mean, you guys have brilliant guys from Waterloo working at the place. That would have taken them a day to build. What is taking so long to make this an easier process? Because it's horrible. Yeah, but it is actually getting better, and it's getting
How
is it getting better
quickly.
How like what steps?
I think when I mean I'm new at the company, right? So sure. But I think in late December when we came in, you had to sign like 3 different agreements just to be able to upload your stuff to AppWorld and get access to the SDKs, etc. So we actually a lot of the critique that you're mentioning also came from our company that we came from. And actually now it's only 1 agreement. It's free now to upload your applications to AppWorld and etc. etc. So all of these things are happening pretty quickly. So unless you have a specific example.
Yo, tons of specific examples. I mean, everything I do, to take the ease of development is on Adobe's side. It's to their credit because you build it in Flash, no problem. It's signing the application, it's using the command line to go through really complicated, huge, quadruple line commands to get this bar file out and then signed. It's, any tiny detail, like not updating the version number isn't gonna make it fly in the store. It's just, and I mean, I think I've sold 12 copies of my game on your platform for such a small reach and such a huge difficulty level and a huge learning curve. It's just not, I mean, it's not worth it to me as a developer.
I'm working pretty closely now with a few other companies, Flash Gaming License, etc. And I mean, what I hear from them is that this is actually improving pretty quickly now, and we're working on toolings, etc., just to rectify the kind of problems that you're describing right now.
Can you give me? Are they out? Like, is there a preview, or what toolings have? No, what's been built?
I cannot. But if you mail me, I'll definitely get back to you on that. And any feedback, I mean, is really appreciated.
Thanks.
Thanks, Anders. What would be the top one or several, say one or two things that would benefit me as a developer to develop on the BlackBerry RIM platform first, as opposed to the other ones? Why would I want to do that over, say, the other ones right now?
That's sort of what I was trying to communicate, that I don't see it as doing it just on one platform. I mean, most developers, they need to be able to deploy on multiple platforms. So what I'm trying to hint at here is that this is actually a big platform. A lot of things are happening now, and you're leaving money on the table if you don't consider adding the PlayBook OS SKU to your development pipeline today. So there's no one reason to just develop on our platform, and hopefully things like BBM APIs and the scroll-up integrations that we're doing right now, that we're starting to roll out later this year and really soon, will actually prove to help drive sales for your applications in terms of discovery, etc., that are big problems on platforms today. Being able to go into the App Store, for example, and see not only the top 10 list, but actually see the top games that your friends are playing, and being able to see how much they're playing those games and the achievements that are being integrated into the app stores, etc., in a more of a friends-centric way than just the top-selling way, which might not be the most attractive one for you as a consumer.
Hi, I'm Alex Catcher, president of Marmalade. We were very nicely mentioned on there. I just wanted to comment about the platform. I mean, we've been working with RIM now for a few months in supporting it, and it's a great device and it's a great OS. Our remit here is to try and make the marginal cost of doing it developers really easy. And in our framework, you develop a single application binary that goes out to iOS and to Android, and it will now, with a single click, go out to the BlackBerry OS. And so, we've been working closely with RIM and believe that actually they've got a very interesting roadmap going forward over the next few years, and that for all developers, it's incredibly important to set up the development process to be able to hit a lot of targets. It's not a foregone conclusion that it's going to be, iOS and Android only. There are other platforms coming out. Emergent platforms are really powerful in certain markets. And as a developer, it's kind of interesting hitting new platforms because there are fewer applications on there, and therefore you've got more chance of getting visibility. Yeah. So the App Store processes notwithstanding, which will be solved in due course, I think it's a really important platform to look at. And we've got a whole bunch of content that's going to be coming to it via our SDK and support and working with RIM. So I'd urge you to look at it seriously.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.